A Polish Christmas tradition is making pierogies, and I can tell you that it's the best time in the world. I remember when I was a little girl, my mom would always do this for me, and now I bring it on to my family, and I have a little girl who loves to cook as well. A pierogi is a small little dumpling stuffed with meat, fruit, cheese, mashed potatoes, sauerkraut bacon, sauerkraut mushroom, whatever you may think. I know that I like the meat ones the best, and so do my friends. You first start off with gathering all the ingredients: flour, water, you need some salt, you need some sour cream, you need some egg, and you need some love. You put it all together and you don't mix it with a machine. You have to mix it using your fingers. It's the best tool God has ever given you. And you mix them, mix them, mix them. But then when you get to the dough, when it becomes really elasticy, you don't want it too stiff. So when it becomes elastic, you need to stop. Then you let it sit down for a little while on a piece of parchment paper with a little bit of plastic on top. After that, you take it, you cut it up, and then you roll it out, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. That way it's not too thin and not too thick. And you can cut out little circles with a glass cup, and you take those little circles and you fill them. For the filling, you need to make sure you have whatever you want, pretty much. The meat needs to be cooked prior, so that way it's not raw going in there. The sauerkraut, the bacon, the sauerkraut mushroom, anything, fruit, cheese, mashed potatoes and cheese, whichever you would like. I'm going to discuss the one with the sauerkraut and bacon. It's one of my favorites as well, but it's just something different. A lot of people don't like sauerkraut, but I love it. Sauerkraut, you got to make sure you rinse it out, because if you don't, it's way too sour. The bacon, you got to cook it off. And when you cook it off, you got to cut it up and chop it up into little tiny pieces. Make sure it's not in little strips. It's not going to work if it's in little strips, because the pierogi is about this big. When you take that, you mix up the bacon grease afterwards with the sauerkraut, and then you chop everything up together if you don't have a grinder, which this year I do, but last year you had to chop everything together so it was really tiny. Then you take a spoonful of it, you put it in the dough, and you seal it up around the edges, and then you put it in hot boiling water. When you do that, you cook the dough, that's all you're pretty much cooking, and warm up the inside. When you warm up the inside, after you take it out, you want to let it rest for a little while. Either you can eat it that way, or you can put it in a pan with some lard. And the lard's the best thing you can use, because it gives it a nice little crust on the outside, and it makes it very crunchy and even more delicious. It just adds more flavor. But you take the lard and you put it in a pan and you put the pierogi in it, and you only use the lard on the meat and the sauerkraut bacon ones. You don't use it on the fruit ones. It doesn't taste good. But you take the pierogi after they're done cooking in the lard, and you put them out on a plate, just with a little bit of sour cream if you want, or nothing at all, just eat them like that. And they will melt in your mouth. They taste like, how do you want to put it? Delicious. They taste like heaven, pretty much. I know that many times when I've made them, I've been asked, where did you get them? Or did you buy them? Did you make them? I say, well, I made it all by hand. And they're like, it tastes really good. So every year, all of my friends are like, when is the next batch coming out? And all of them, all they want for Christmas are these pierogi, because they cannot buy these at the store. The store-bought ones are not as good, because they're frozen for months upon months. These are fresh. I know that when I was a little girl, my mom always said, You're going to take this and you're going to bring it out to your family. And now I am. So I hope you enjoyed my speech about pierogi, and I hope you guys try it out one day.